Cydia says, in a case where a minority want to see a specific Let's Play from you, would something like a GoFundMe, raising the funds in advance of a playthrough, be something to consider? What would be the drawback? Well, here's the thing, Cydia. I understand what you're saying, because, for example, maybe there'd be a game that only like 10 people actually want to see me play. And then everyone else like, don't play that game. That game's boring. It's not going to be fun for a stream. But what if those people were willing to fund the playthrough and say, no, we would literally pay you. So as if when you're playing it, you're hitting your funding goal every stream, right? It would be a tough trade. I don't want to be playing stuff just for the sake of making money. I want you to understand that. Like, I want to be playing stuff because I'm enjoying it, you're enjoying it. And then because of that, there's reciprocation. People saying, hey, we love the fact that you're doing this playthrough here. We'll reward you with some support. Get it? So yeah, I don't know. We'd have to talk about that. We certainly, I haven't done anything like that yet. There's never been someone who said, hey, I'll pay you up front. You know, this game is 10 hours long, so it'll take you 5 streams to beat it. So I'll pay you 5 streams of $150. You know, do the math. I'll pay you $750 if you play this game. That's never happened. No one's ever made the offer. I've never considered the offer. Nothing like that. I guess we'd have to see. We'd have to see what happens if that ever would be viable. But personally, I think I would like to make content that the live audience is going to like. You know what I mean? Not that I'm just going to be playing a game for one person who buys the playthrough, right? Well, Adam says, I don't like Game Pass. I like to buy and own my games physically. I don't like constantly having to pay. Yeah, but you don't own anything. Adam, do you not understand you don't own any games? You literally own 0 video games. You can't own a video game. Unless you own the company, you don't. All you're doing is you're buying a license to play the game. You may have a physical disc. You don't own the game. Most games physically, now when you buy them, they're just a download code anyway. You pop the disc into your console and it downloads the real game off the internet. You don't own the game. I don't know where this weird misconception is. This is not the 1990s. This is not the 2000s. The game's not even on the disc. It really is confusing that people say that. Escanor says Game Pass is killing Xbox. Can you please explain how? Please right now explain how Game Pass is killing Xbox. Because this is the narrative I hear on social media from people who are strong critics of Xbox. Yet, no one ever presents any evidence. Everyone just says it. The thing is, absolutely none of us understand the agreements that are going on for games that appear on Game Pass. We have no clue if these companies are making flat rate money, if they're making per download money. We don't know if it's like a royalty or if it's, if your game hits a certain milestone, then we'll pay you. We don't know how it works at all. We don't know how profitable it is. Here's what we do know. A lot of games end up on Game Pass. Do you think that if it was not profitable for the game makers that they would put their games on Game Pass? Why would they shoot themselves in the foot? Does that even make any sense? And you say it's killing Xbox. Well, no, I would say what's killing Xbox is Phil Spencer and his pathetic leadership. And the fact that he doesn't understand that he needs to have a reason to own an Xbox for it to be a viable concept of a purchase. And he hasn't done that at all. He's done a piss poor job in the last several years of convincing anyone to own an Xbox. Especially when he's telling you, your phone is an Xbox. Your refrigerator is an Xbox. Well, then no one's going to buy the console, you dingus. He's the problem, not Game Pass. Game Pass is a good value for the consumer. Now he just needs to make it make sense to own the console, and he hasn't done that. Game Boy, how are you today? Good to see you. Escanor says they're putting every game onto Game Pass day one. No one is actually paying for the game. Why do you think Xbox games are going to PlayStation? Because no one's buying the consoles because Phil Spencer doesn't know how to sell the console. That's how. That's why. If you're massively losing this generation of console sales, you're definitely last in place for sales. You need to sell your games other ways, and that's why they're doing the whole sell the games on PlayStation deal. But if they could sell consoles, then you would need to do that, but they're not doing that. Like, I think Phil Spencer just gave up. He realized he's a hack. He doesn't know how to do his job. So he just threw in the towel and said, just sell our games on PlayStation. Fuck it. Otherwise, you're right. These games would go unplayed, which is a shame because a lot of these are good games. Indiana Jones is an outstanding game. I actually really liked it, and I'm glad that it's actually getting some legs on PlayStation. But bottom line is, it would have sold consoles if they knew how to do it, but they don't know how anymore. Clutch says, are you still going to get next-gen systems that might be $700 to $800? Clutch, you got to understand something. For me, buying a game system isn't just a entertainment factor. It's my job. Is it not my job to buy a console, cover its launch, right? So me getting these consoles, unboxing them live, hooking them up, showing you what they're like, that day one experience, that's part of my job. That's one of the cool things I can now do with this new setup, dual cameras, unbox it live right here up in HD and hook it up, show you what it looks like, mess with it, give you that day one impressions. That's part of the experience of being a gaming creator. So even if I buy it and I end up never having a use for it, it kind of still makes sense, doesn't it? Right? Like with Switch 2, can I be honest with everyone here? Switch 2 has one game at launch that I'm interested in, Mario Kart World. Switch 2 has one other game this entire year that's been announced that I'm interested in, Donkey Kong Bonanza. That's it. There's literally nothing else. Everything else is a third-party port. I'm not going to buy Cyberpunk to play it again on Switch 2. I already played it. So I'm buying this console, if I can get it, all right, for a launch day investment, playing Mario Kart World, playing Donkey Kong, and then it's going to sit there and collect dust just like my regular Switch has. That's Nintendo's fault. But it still makes sense for me to get it. I'm going to have that coverage. You guys are going to want to see me covering these things at launch, no? So doesn't it make sense for me to invest that money? I think so. No, I don't believe that. Kless says Metroid Prime 4 is going to come out this year too. I don't believe that. I think it's coming out next year. Or else they would have already talked about it and had a release date for it, and they don't have that. I don't believe that. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know why I'm yawning all of a sudden. I'm not bored. We're having a good conversation. Guys, that's it. It's time. It's time for more support. Guys, let's get some support. Let's get our first super chat of the day. We haven't had a single super chat. Let's get our first membership of the day. Let's get a tip bigger than $2. Come on. Hold on. There we go. Can we get some support, for goodness sake? No, Genesis Gaming, I just said Metroid Prime 4. I firmly do not believe that Metroid Prime 4 will come out this year, or else they would have already had an announcement. We know it's coming, but they haven't given us a release date at all. It's just, they're being very ambiguous about the game, and I think there's a good reason. It's just not done. It's not ready. If it were, I think we'd be getting more information, and we don't have that information. I think it's not coming out this year. I could be wrong. And I'd like to be wrong. I'd like to play more on my Switch too, but I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that it's going to be just Mario Kart and then Donkey Kong and then dry spell only third-party ports for like 6 months. And then maybe next year we'll start to see Switch 2 games come out. That's my take. Adam, thank you for 18 months as a member. He says first member renew of the day. Yes, but that doesn't count towards our goals, sadly. But thank you for being an 18-month member. Pausen says Legends ZA is supposedly coming out this year. That is right. You're right. A Pokemon game, right? But again, isn't it funny?